Out of all the 4 modules of IELTS, it is the writing where I have seen students struggling a lot. And when it comes to writing, while many people focus on the content of the essays, there are many who focus too much on the vocabulary or the idioms. But in reality, do you have idea that what are the most important factors to score good band in IELTS writing? The answer to this is that there are set standards from the Cambridge, the agency which sets this IELTS, that what are should be the factors on which your writing scores depend. These are called as assessment criteria of IELTS writing, and in this video we are going to talk about all these assessment criteria, that what are the steps you need to follow in order to meet this assessment criteria. So please keep watching this video till the end. I am pretty much sure that you are going to learn an amazing new thing about this topic. Hello friends, I am Sagar Shridesh from Comet Study Abroad and welcome to this video. Before going further, please consider subscribing if you haven't yet subscribed to this channel. I make videos on IELTS, TOEFL, GRE, SAT, GMAT and other English basics. I also make videos on study abroad options and its process. Now without any further delay, let's kick off. So this is how your typical writing score sheets looks like in your actual examination center. This is the kind of an answer sheet you are going to get. If you see over here, there is a first part of the answer sheet where you have to note down your name, candidate number, center number, test date and the kind of a module, that whether it is an academic or a general test you are appearing for. Below to it, in these given lines, you need to write the essay for the task 2 and in the same way report or the letter for your task 1. If you turn the page at the bottom, you can see a section of official use on. There are examiner number 1 and 2 is written. This means that there will be 2 examiner who is going to assess your essay. So what actually happens? This particular answer sheet will be photocopied and it will be given to 2 examiner and the average of both will be your final band. Now you can see in the center there are boxes where TR, CC, LR and GRA is written. If you can see, both the examiners are going to give you some numbers based on this TR, CC, LR and GRA. So these TR, CC, LR and GRA are basically the assessment criteria that I was talking about, and on the basis of which your examiner will give you the band. Each of these assessment criteria and the average of this will be your overall bands in your IELTS writing. It will also assess that your topic, you should not be digressed from the main topic, and finally you should not use any such kind of a words or sentence that is not acceptable in the formal setup of English. Now let us discuss about each assessment criteria in detail. Number 1 is task response, or abbreviated as TR. What is this task response? To score high in your task response, you need to consider following points appropriately. Firstly, you need to check if you are writing the essay or report in enough words or not. That means for the task 1, your report should not be less than 150 words, and similarly for task 2, it should not be less than 250 words. So this is the first criteria that you need to make the task response. Second, in order to get the proper TR, you should not be digressing from the main topic. It might seem easier, but in actual scenario, this is where many people get trapped. It is possible that we may write an amazing content which may include great vocabulary and would be grammatically accurate too. But then at the end of the time, if all these contents are not related to the question, then it is of no use. Thus it is very important for us to stick to the topic given in the question. Now for example, we can see from this question that it is written the high sales of popular consumer goods reflect the power of advertising and not the real needs of society in which they are sold. To what extent do you agree or disagree? Now in this particular question, the argument is between people who thinks that the high sales of the world popular consumer goods are due to the advertising only, while others feel that it is the need of the product behind its sales. In other words, there is an argument between the impact of advertising on the sale of a product and the actual need of the product. However, there are instances where I have seen that students start writing advantages and disadvantages of advertising. This response will be considered as incorrect because the argument is quite different, as I have told you before. So we must understand the question correctly before answering it in order to meet and score good in this TR section. Moving further, you score good under task response if you cover all parts of the question. Now, what are the parts of the question? Take an example of this particular question. It is given that as most people spend a major part of their adult life at work, job satisfaction is an important element of individual well-being. What factors contribute to job satisfaction? How realistic is the expectation of job expectation from all workers? Now in this question, you need to answer 2 things. Number one, what factors contribute to job satisfaction? And second, how realistic is expectation of job satisfaction? Suppose if you have written keeping all the standards correct, that means in good grammar, good vocabulary, word length, and even if you haven't went off topic with the thing that I've discussed before. But suppose you have just answered the first question, which is what factors contribute to the job satisfaction, and have left the second part, which is how realistic is the expectation of the job satisfaction, then your task response will be considered incomplete and consequently you will lose marks. Finally, you need to answer the task in the way that it has been asked. When there is a question of like say, do you agree or disagree, or you need to write either only on the agree or only on disagree. You cannot say that I agree and disagree on an equal extent, or I have a both sort of opinion. No, you cannot say like this, because they have asked you the question that whether you agree or disagree. But when the question is to what extent do you agree or disagree, then you may have to write your first two body paragraph for your the position that you have largely. Similarly, in advantage and disadvantages question, you have to write advantages and disadvantages of both the view. And if the question is, does the advantage outweighs the disadvantages, then you have to compare the advantages and disadvantages. If you do not compare and only write the advantage and disadvantage, then there is a risk that you may lose bands in your essay. So depending upon the type of a question, your response will change. Next assessment criteria is cohesion and coherence. As the name suggests, cohesion is a kind of an adhesive or a glue that binds all the sentences, and coherence is a flow of idea. The idea actually should flow smoothly, and there should not be any abrupt break or inconsistencies of the ideas between the lines. Now let us talk about this coherence. Coherence suggests a smooth flow of idea. It is also called as a logical flow of the idea. Questions comes that why this is so important. When you watch a movie, you know that it starts with a certain situation, and then one event leads to other events, and other event leads to finally, and it leads to a climax. It doesn't happen that a first climax happens and then it goes to the initial part. If it happens, the flow of that particular story breaks, and eventually we will lose curiosity and interest from that movie. The same thing happens with the essay. So all the contents that you are going to write in your essay should have a logical flow. This means the important ideas should be highlighted in order of their importance or chronology. Just take this example. If you want to talk about the development of our country during the last 4 decades between say 1980 to 2020, the logical flow of the idea suggests to us to start from 1980 to 1990, 2000 to 2010, and finally from 2010 to 20. Now just imagine in an essay where the first paragraph mentions about the development of our country between first 1990 to 2000, then the second paragraph will take back to 1980 to 1990, and third will talk about 2010 to 2020. By doing this, your reader will lose the pace, they will not be able to relate the idea, and finally they will be confused. In the actual task 2 scenario, suppose if you get a topic to say that to what extent do you agree or disagree, and your position suppose is that you agree to an argument to a larger extent, and only in some exceptional situation you may disagree with it. So the important part of the topic is why do you agree, and if you start anything with your relatively less important point of which is disagreement in this particular case, then there is a chance that your reader will be confused, because that is not your main position, and eventually they will lose interest, and in case of IELTS this will attract a kind of a penalty. Now coming to the cohesion. Now when you have decided the flow of ideas, now it's time to write it down. Essays are essentially a flow of ideas, and this flow should be properly connected. Just imagine the network of road in your city. One road always leads to another road, and thus that next road will lead to the further road. Furthermore, the two roads are connected with at junctions. Also, each road does have a signage that where the following road is going to take you. The sentences are exactly like this. Here the roads are your sentences. Like roads, one sentences will lead to the second sentence. Like the roads are connected with each other at junctions, these sentences will be connected with each other, which is called as a conjunctions. And like signages on the road, we use various signpost verbs that tell the nature of further content that is to be possibly discussed. In the same way, there are a list of linkers which you could be used to connect and signpost the sentences. These linkers assist us to bind two sentences. Suppose the first sentence is about the cause of a certain thing, like for an example, today it was raining a lot, hence I was not able to come to the office. So here the first sentence was today it was raining a lot was a cause, and the next sentence I was not able to come to the office was the impact of that cause. And the signpost hence is used to tell that after the cause now you are going to talk about its impact. Now the last part of the cohesion is to use reference link. Reference links are used to avoid the repetitions, and this also aids to connect the sentences. For example, I do like to shop from the local market. They do have a lots of exciting varieties at the most reasonable price. Here the pronoun they is a reference link of local market. If you use local market again, then it will sound repetitive and it will not be properly connected with the first sentence. So wherever it is possible, you should try to use this reference link. I hope you understood it clearly, that what is cohesion and coherence and why it is so important. Let's come to the next assessment criteria, which is lexical range. Now what is lexical? Lexical in itself means vocabulary. Now within this criterion, they see that what sort of vocabulary you are using. And not only these, that the kind of a vocabulary, they will also assess the kind of a vocabulary that you have used are appropriate in context with the writing or not. And at the same time, they also see your collocations, which should be sufficiently used and also appropriately. Now, what are collocations is a separate topic, and I will be making a separate video on this later. The first thing that you should be able to use is the appropriate in contextual vocabulary. And apart from this, the next thing that they see, that you should not repeat a vocabulary a lot. You should be able to express one word in variety of way. For example, if you want to say that features of this phone are quite exciting, the display of this phone is also very exciting. What's more, the most exciting part of the phone is its high battery life. If you note, the repetitive use of words exciting made the content monotonous and dull. We could write the same content in other way by paraphrasing this word exciting. Now just see this paraphrase sentence. Features of these phones are quite exciting with amazing display quality. What's more, the most appreciable function of this phone is its superbly high battery life. Thus, it means that more than using a hi-fi vocabulary, one should be able to express the common things in a more fascinating way. And in the last, whatever the vocabulary that you are using, it should be spelled correct. If you are spelling it incorrect, then you are going to lose marks over here. And finally, the assessment criteria number 4, which is GRA, also called as grammatical range and accuracy. When it comes to grammar, we think that keeping it accurate will do all the work. This, however, is partially true. Keeping grammar accurate is important, but at the same time, you should be able to use variety of grammatical structures and sentences. Thus, to achieve GRA, apart from accuracy, you should also be able to use variety of grammatical forms like active and passive form of the sentence. Also, you should be able to make variety of sentence structures like simple sentence, complex sentence, compound sentence and complex compound sentence. And the use of punctuations like comma also plays a vital role to develop better understanding of the sentence. So when you use sentence like, just for an example, I study in a university which is located in the center of the city, and the second sentence, I study in a university, comma, which is located in the center of the city. Just see, there is a comma placement before which in the second sentence, and this comma will alter the overall meaning of the sentence. How does it impact the overall meaning of the sentence? Please comment in the comment. This is all about the assessment criteria of the IELTS writing. If you practice your IELTS keeping in the mind of all this assessment criteria, and if whenever you assess it, you assess on the basis of this assessment criteria, I'm pretty much sure that you will be able to get better numbers in your actual IELTS writing test. Thank you for watching this video. If you have liked this video, please like and don't forget to press the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed it yet. See you in next video. Till then, take care. Bye bye.